Welcome to Finding Avalon, the podcast that amplifies disabled voices. I'm your host, Jenna, a disability inclusion advocate, communicator, and storyteller. This is a place where disabled folks correct the narrative by sharing authentic lived experiences. Join me as we explore life with disability through our lens, because representation matters. Welcome to another episode of the Finding Avalon podcast. Thanks for listening in to learn and unlearn about disability inclusion, one story at a time. Today, I'm delighted to have a very special guest, a legendary one from right here in Nova Scotia, Paul Tingley. When Paul was injured in a skiing accident in his 20s, he became paralyzed from the waist down. Through working with local physiotherapist and decorated sailor Judy Lagar, Paul discovered a new athletic passion and an outlet in adapted sailing. On the water, he found peace and motivation, perfecting his competitive sailing skills. Today, he needs no introduction in the sailing world. A 3-time Paralympic medalist, Paul is considered one of the world's top solo competitors in the sport. Known for his natural leadership style, he's also a sought-after coach and leader in adapted sport in Nova Scotia and across Canada, and he was recently inducted into the Nova Scotia Sports Hall of Fame. Paul's deep involvement with adaptive sailing organizations and his skill and knowledge as a sailor positioned him perfectly for his current role as National Chair of AbleSail Network. He's been determined to expand adaptive sailing as a sport and increase opportunities for participation for Canadians with disabilities to try sailing and even train as competitive sailors. Welcome, Paul.
Thank you, Jenna. It's great to be here. Such an honor.
Oh, thank you so much for being with me. It's an honor for me to finish season 1 with such a very spectacular guest. And listeners might not know this, but I've had the privilege already to have worked alongside of you for a few years at the board level. As a sailing enthusiast and a person living with disability myself, I was very lucky to learn so much from you about adaptive sailing and leadership. And this is a great way to end our podcast season on a high note.
That's fantastic. We learned so much from you, Jenna. So I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you. Shall we get right into the questions, Paul?
Yes, let's do it.
Can you tell us more about how you became so involved in adaptive sport?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So I was kind of a sporty kid growing up, and I had a ski accident when I was 24 years old, and it left me a paraplegic. And at that point, the doctor said, you're going to be in a wheelchair for the rest of your life. So I was 24, didn't know anything about the world of disability, and I knew that I still had many, many years ahead of me, and I wanted to, I knew I had to adjust to my new life, but also what was going to be the good stuff in my future self. And I thought sport was really with me up until that point, so it's probably going to be there after that. So I really delved into the world of parasport, all the adapted sports, inclusion, as well as adapting to like the built environment and all those disability things. But, the good stuff, the rec, the sport, things that I really liked, I found out you could adapt to any activity, any sport or rec. It might not look the same, but you can adjust it to meet your needs where everyone can still go out and participate. So that for me was a big game changer, very liberating that, we can still participate and go out. So I started to do all the sports to see what I would really like. And when I went out sailing with my physiotherapist, who happened to be a world champion sailor,
Wow.
we went out on the water that first day, and I left the wheelchair at the dock. This is about 8 months after my accident, and I got to strap into the chair. It was a nice sunny day, good wind, and we were going pretty quick, and we were kind of pushing the boat to the edge, and it was like the water was coming in, and I was totally engulfed, and it was exhilarating, and there's smiles, and we're learning everything together, and you just don't think about your disability or the things that you can't do anymore. And it was just like this mental massage. It was just an escape that I could go and not worry about these kind of things. So I knew that that was the sport for me after that first day. And that's when I really was hooked.
Wow. Talk about an ally and a mentor, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
Paul, you're the chair of the National Adapted Sailing Organization here in Canada called AbleSail Network. In this leadership role, can you tell us how you apply your own perspectives and experiences to guide this coast to coast organization and increase participation in adapted sailing programs for sailors with disabilities?
Yeah, I'd love to speak about the AbleSail network. We are a board, and what we do is we give guidance to the 20 AbleSail clubs across Canada. And we are made up of different representatives from coast to coast. And I really look at it as more of a team. I'm just a team member, and everybody, all these volunteers, bring such passion and they have such great experiences with their own clubs. They come really with a lot of answers. They don't need kind of leading, I would say. So I am a facilitator as the chair, and I make sure the meetings happen. But really, get out of people's way. I can tell you that just the passion is there. And just by having this network, it gets people together. We talk about ideas. We do have a vision to keep growing safely. We want to raise awareness. We want to educate people with disabilities that we're here. And everybody does that. So it's not hard to be the leader of the AbleSail network when everybody's kind of doing everything with high marks. But there are challenges, and we are there for each other. So we help listen, and we look for alternative ways to accomplish our goals when we meet barriers in one way. So we're always kind of devising. I think the passion just comes from all our experiences. So for me, it was a life-changing event doing parasailing. It's 35 years later. I'm still doing it, still as much love for it as that first day. So I think everyone's kind of like that. So the passion is there. We know the vision that we want to pass it on to more people with disabilities. So it's pretty clear, and we're set, and we go about our ways. Going even further back, this all kind of started with Rick Hansen when he was going around the world, and he went to England, and they were promoting accessible transportation. And Margaret Thatcher met with Rick and gave him a gift of an accessible sailboat. And it was called a Sunbird. And so Rick didn't know what to do with it. So he gave it to his friend Sam Sullivan in Vancouver. And they started the first AbleSail program at the Royal Vancouver Yacht Club. And from there, them and Victoria kind of were the center. And they had the boats, they built more boats, they started to race them. That's how AbleSail kind of grew. And then it went and started going out east, and it made it all the way to Newfoundland. So now we have, 20 all across the 10 provinces, which is great. So these AbleSail programs are all built around promoting independence. So we have people with disabilities to actually go and leave the comfort of maybe your wheelchair or your controlled environment into a boat where it's wet and you're getting kind of thrown around in the balance, and you don't know, when the next bathroom break will be. Like, there's all these little things. So you're really, it's not a normal, I guess, for people who've never sailed to go sailing. But once they go out and they try it, then, sometimes they're bitten just like I was. And a lot of times it's a life-changing thing. So that brings people back to go sailing. And then they start to meet other sailors that are also up against challenges. And they see their attitudes, and maybe the person will see the peer kind of overcoming challenges by trying something, whereas they might have stopped trying. So then they start to try again, and then maybe they become more independent, or they more confident, more social. And that is the power of parasport, really. Like, it's freeing, it's kind of makes you feel better, but it also, you see your peers doing something, it really kind of forces you to question your own limits and to push them and to go a little bit further. And so often I've seen family members, moms, like little Joey is like a new person after joining this club. And it's incredible, the feeling, right? How much that matters. So So we're building good attitudes. The AbleSail networks are growing. We're continuing to grow every year.
And of course, you've got a giant event. You've got a regatta. Can you tell me a little bit about the regatta?
Sure, yeah. The AbleSail networks, we're responsible for running Canada's International Annual Regatta. So it's called Mobility Cup, and it happens once a year. And the CN Rail sponsors it all, and they've been doing it for over 25 years, which makes it all possible. So the last couple weeks of August, the CN Rail will go to all the AbleSail clubs and pick up a boat or two and take it to the city in which it's happening. So we'll have maybe 20 boats at Montreal is going to be this year. And then we have about 40 sailors, and 20 of them will be in the silver fleet, and 20 of them are in the gold fleet. So we have the silver for the new people. The next champions, I guess, have to start somewhere. So they're learning, they're being coached as they go in the regatta, and we have companion sailors. The boats are magical themselves because when you look at the boat, you would never guess people have disabilities, and they're doing everything that able-bodied people can do. But so they're learning the silver fleet, and then we have the gold fleet, and they're for the more serious racers that have been putting in the time and effort, the goal setting. They're out to win it, and so that's the Mobility Cup. It's over 5 days, and at night we party hard, just as we sail hard in the day. And we eat well, and then we have songs and dance the night away. So it's wonderful.
Sounds like a perfect community gathering, because there is a culture that you're building. You know, it is a community and a network of relationships. And so you've got people from Newfoundland all the way to British Columbia who are going to meet up in Montreal, sail hard, and play hard after the sailing.
You got it. And every year it's the same, some of the same people are getting together. It's their annual trip, and we have people from Hawaii that are coming, Europe, Puerto Rico sometimes, all types of disabilities too. So we have a wide range of different disabilities as well, which we're very proud of, but maybe we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Paul, you're a very decorated competitive sailor, and you have won 3 Paralympic medals. And you've also coached at an extremely high level as well. I'd love to hear more about what those experiences were like for you on a personal level, but also as a professional athlete. Because to win not 1, but 3 Paralympic medals, it's the stuff of legend. And I know you're a very humble person, so I'm going to pump you up here because it's so impressive to others. You are super humble, but we want to know about this. Can you share some memories from those various dream come true events? Maybe what you learned as a competitor, a coach, a person. Anything you want to tell us. We are here to listen.
Yeah, I started doing the sailing just as the activity itself, going out on the water. And I love being outdoors and being challenged that way, and the respect of the ocean and the elements. And then I started learning about the science of sailing and drag and lift. And then I was going out with friends and at the social. And then I wanted to travel, and I could go to regattas. So I'm doing all these things, just building blocks of love and joy. And then I was like, well, if I start to go to regattas, I'm traveling, I'm doing all this learning, I'm still outside. I just love sailing. It's so much fun. So that was the base. Like I've always kind of had that to go on. So then I started my career racing, and I really didn't know what I was doing. I was asked to join a team to go to Sydney, Australia in 2000. I had the job of controlling the mainsail of the boat, and I learned so much from that first coach about just going fast and the focus, and you can never do enough. Like, it's just what I thought was a reasonable amount of time to put into my craft of being better was totally humbled by what this other coach would put in, which was an eye-opener. So you start to learn about sacrifice and goal setting and being honest with yourself about what you're really doing and how you did your performance, what you could do better, how you debrief. Yeah, all these kind of things so then I'm like living the journey, I guess. So they say it's about the journey, not the destination. And it's true. I was just doing the journey of just trying to be the best sailor that I could be. And I had good coaching. I was self-coaching myself, and I was just never really had aspirations to win gold medals or anything at that time. I was really just happy to be traveling, going around to different beautiful places in the world, going sailing. And I was very lucky. But after 8 years, I left the team and I started to do a single-handed sailing where I went to China. So that whole 4 years, when I went from the three-person to just myself, everything kind of happened very quickly. Because I had trained so hard on the mainsail and making the boat go fast, I kind of had a really big focus on going fast. Once I cleaned up the other parts of single-handed sailing, where you're making decisions, starting, doing all this by yourself, but I could go fast. So about 2 years into the 4-year quad, all of a sudden I started like coming in the top three, and I was like being referred to as the fast boat and things like that. But I still would do stupid things and go off, and that no one could understand my decision making sometimes. But and then I came to the trials, and people were like, "Oh, good for you, Paul, just to be here and try," you know. And so when they said that to me, that I was just like, lucky to be there, I just was like, I'll show them what I can do. And then I went to like another level of like, I'm going to really show them what I can do. I'm full of potential, and now you're going to feel it. And I kept it quiet and everything. And I was always very polite. And to me, it's almost like that Survivor game where you're making alliances with other competitors.
Yes.
But in the end, you want to win. So you would it was kind of like that on the sailing scene. I teamed up with the guy from America, and we were alliances, and we went further together by practicing and being open and honest and everything. So that was really satisfying. And lo and behold, it comes down to the last race in China, and there's like four of us that have a chance for the gold medal. And that guy from the USA is one of them. And I know he's like just as fast, if not faster than me. So I had to pull a move on him to like cut him off almost. And it's really hard because he's your friend, but all the books and everything that you studied, they're not people, they're boats. So don't look at them as the personalities, because you would never attack or cut off your friend. But because it's a boat, it's a race, and you got to beat everyone, then it's okay. Kind of justify with yourself. So anyway, that last race in China for the gold medal, I had a great start, and I picked the right side of the course to go up, because that's always a big decision. And when I was coming into the last few meters before the finish line, I was still like trying to go fast. The guys behind me were like, hooting, hollering for me, but I was like, I didn't even know what the thing is. You're like looking at yourself down, experiencing this goal that you kind of like set up for yourself, but you don't really know how to act, I guess. But it was a lot of jubilation, a lot of arms swinging, and then it was just a permanent smile on my face for like, I don't know, weeks, I guess. And so that was like really probably the most accomplished thing I did, I guess, getting the gold medal. So that was a wonderful feeling.
Was this for the Paralympics in China?
2008. Yeah. So that was like one of the medals. And then once you get a gold medal, Sport Canada starts to recognize you a lot more, your sailing association, because a lot of national sporting organizations kind of get funded based on medals and things like that. So all of a sudden I was like, had more money and resources that I knew what to do with. But I wanted to continue, and I was going to get kind of better paid. So I didn't have to sleep in the parking lot in my, 4-cylinder van. I could now
Yeah.
stay in a regular hotel. So After China, I went on for another 4 years and competed in London in 2012, and I was able to get 5th place, which is not too shabby, 5th in the world, but the other 4 sailed very well, so hats off to them. After 2012, I had been sailing 8 years as a solo sailor, and it was getting a little lonely, hours out on the water. So I joined a team with Scott and Logan, and we started training for the Paralympics in Rio. And we did very well very quickly. We were a good team, and we won a World Cup about a year before the Paralympics. So I knew that we had, the skills. And during the Rio Paralympics, which was one of the most breathtaking places to go sailing, we did very good. We were in second going into the last race, and we ended up third, which was great because we almost got fourth. And the difference between third and fourth is a medal, I guess. So
Yes.
we are very happy. And the celebrations with the team, there's so much better. Like, it's great by yourself, but it's just different. So to have that experience with that team, and we all put in so much together and lived together on the road, that it was so satisfying.
And you got to celebrate in Rio de Janeiro?
We did,
Ay.
yes. They have some very strong drinks on the beach there in the Copacabana. My coach, he was not prepared, but anyway, it's been great. We have great support here in Nova Scotia, and we had some parties and celebrations, and we're still all sailing. We're just not sailing around the world internationally, but we have these great reunions and talks, and we're still close.
Wow. Always a team.
Mhm.
I've heard you say before, sailing is for everyone. Why is adapted sailing so important for disabled people and communities? What does it offer, and how does it benefit people when they're engaged in adaptive sport?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked this question. It is the magic of disabled sailing that sailing is for everyone. So, what does that mean? So, in lots of other sports, they say, oh, wheelchair rugby is for quadriplegics. Wheelchair racing is for pairs. But it's not like that with sailing, because the wind will take you forward and the boat will keep you afloat. It's the seating and how you set up the mechanics of how you control the boat. So people have different abilities, and you can go in and change the cockpit design to meet your disability. So I had one guy, he was missing both legs, and we set up like a trampoline. So he could just go, he went side to side quicker than anybody I've ever seen in my life. For myself, I don't use my legs, and I have kind of bad balance. So I have handbars and like little transfer boards to go on. And then other people might be quadriplegics, and if they can't use their arms or legs, we have technology where you put 2 straws in your mouth, and by using your own air, you breathe and suck, and it will change the motors on the other end of the straw that will change the rudder and allow you to steer. And then the other straw, by sucking and puffing, you will change the sail so it adjusts the angle of the sails to the wind. So a person without use of arms or legs can go out in one of our boats and independently go out in a breezy day and go where they want.
It's
And
like controlled by their breath.
it's controlled by their breath. It's called sip and puff. And then if you just use a joystick, like a lot of people in power chairs might, we have that technology as well. If we have visual impairment, you can sail where you can feel the boat, you can feel the wind on your face, and you can equalize it using your ears and things like that. So there is no reason why we can't take anyone out for a sail. So it's sailing for everyone. Not everybody wants to learn how to sail or race. They might just want to sit down and be taken for a cruise. And that's important. That's a good experience out on the water. So we want to get everybody's butts in our boats so they at least know to have that choice. Do you want to continue or not? Because if you haven't tried it, you won't know. So sailing is for everyone. And then what that means is it levels the playing field so that when they're going out and sailing, maybe in a little race, then it doesn't really matter that one person's got this disability and the other person has the another disability. It's all the same. We're just boats racing against each other. It really normalizes the whole activity. And I think that's what the big draw is as well. People love that they feel on a level playing field.
And that they don't have to deal with inaccessible standard equipment. Instead, they have something that's been adapted and designed for their own
That's right. And we come with
disability.
that thought process where someone shows up, we are going to make it work for them. So it's a little engineering, maybe. Let's get out the
Mhm.
screwdrivers here and there just to make it
Yeah.
work, a little tweak. And people that like working on boats, they love that challenge. So these sail labels, everyone's accept it. We look at what needs to be done, we do it, and we try it. And if it doesn't work, we're going to tweak it until it's right. And then everyone's going to be happy.
And I know from my experience with the organization that focus on safety and then also just that accessible coaching for each person. Like you're really committed to making that experience an empowering one.
Yeah, it's the biggest thing is that we don't try to like preconceive what people should be doing when they're on the water. We just want to meet them where they're at. It's their time. They took the effort to come. So we're really happy they got there. We want to do what's going to make them happy. And some want to do, learn how to race, and others just want to like look at the big homes on the ocean, things like
Yeah,
that, and
oceanfront
or look
mansions.
for whales, or yeah, it's
Yeah.
all good.
And even just that there is a certain freedom when you're on a boat with the wind in your face and the wind in your hair and seeing things from a totally different perspective, right?
100%.
Yeah. I ask each guest to recommend a song or two for the Finding Avalon podcast playlist. Paul, do you have any songs that might fit the theme of what we've talked about today or your own experiences with disability?
Yeah, there's so many good songs. I'm going to go with Christopher Cross, the song Sailing. Though, I don't know if you know it, but one of the lines is, "It takes me away." So it just takes me away to wherever you want to go, whether in your mind or in your body. It's just taking you away. So I think that's pretty nice. And then the other one is a Canadian, Jeremy Fisher. He has a song called Let It Shine. And we all have our little lights, and you're going to let it shine. So we want to be everything that we can be, and you're just going to shine so bright. So I think that's a good one, just being all that you can be.
I love it. Thank you. I'm going to add these to the playlist. In 3 words, whether that's 3 individual words or a simple 3-word phrase, what does disability inclusion mean to you and why?
hmm I kind of looked at it in two ways. One is what we're doing now to achieve the disability inclusion. Got 3 words for that. And then I think there's a destination of actually having it, and there's 3 words for that. So the here now, as we're trying to get to it, I think that we need to have patience, education, and forgiveness. And that's going to help move the needle forward. What would be the 3 words for disability inclusion once we've achieved it? Freedom, fun, and normal.
Normal. And I like how you talk about as we're trying to get there and once we're there, not if we're there, once we're there.
Right. Good point. Yeah, I didn't even
Mm-hmm.
know I said that. But yeah,
That just shows your mindset, right?
right. It's happening all over the place. It's just not sustained regularly, and it's not like policies, but there's great people that are doing all these kinds of things. So it's only
Mm-hmm.
getting better. It's got a long way to go, of course, but we're
Yeah.
getting there.
Thank you so much for that. Paul, thanks for sharing your wisdom and your experiences with us on the podcast. Is there anything else that we didn't talk about that you wanted to share?
I'm just happy to be here and talk to you. It's always great to talk to you. And that AbleSail network is across Canada. We are about promoting um, sailing for people with disabilities and all the benefits that go along with that. It's a better quality lifestyle, it's more active, it's better mental health. And the volunteers want you to come and put your if you're looking to be more involved or volunteer or sponsor, we have a beautiful new webpage. And Jenna, you would know because you helped redesign it. If you're interested to learn more about disabled sailing, please visit ablesailnetwork.com, where you can find out where to get connected with your local club.
Paul, I'm going to link some resources to this episode's social media and blog posts so that other people can learn more about how to connect and how they can get involved as sailors, members, supporters, sponsors, and volunteers. Thank you for your powerful leadership and your wisdom. What a fantastic way to wrap up season 1. Thank you again, Paul.
Thank you, Jenna. It's been a fun time talking with you, and hope many more years for you this podcast to happen.
Thanks as always for listening along to the Finding Avalon podcast. Coming up will be a special season end compilation with reflections, behind the scenes memories, and more. If you'd like to see me continue Finding Avalon for season 2, please consider making a donation to help cover basic podcast operating costs. Another way that you can help me as a disabled creator is to follow, rate, comment, and share this episode with others. Special artist thanks and credit for the unreleased feature song Coal Miner, written by Steve Hoskins, arranged by Naomi Kavka, and performed by Naomi Kavka, Bryn Porter, and Tony Kostelik. Take care, everyone. We need advocates and allies just like you to join in and together build more inclusive communities.